Well, good day, guys, and welcome back to another episode of Bareham Engines. So, as you can see, you join me back here in my kitchen once again. We're just going to do a little sit down, sort of a question and answer. Not all questions, but just sort of replying to some comments. Obviously, I've been at home ill from Thursday night, really. Had Friday off, not very well. My kids ain't very well either. My little daughter's still in bed. Have to keep the noise down a little bit. My wife's just gone shopping. Yeah, I've just been reading through some of the comments, really, that you guys have left in some of the previous videos. And I thought I'd just take this perfect opportunity of a Sunday, guys, to give you something to watch. Won't bore you. As I say, it's a bit of a sit-down one, so if you don't fancy sitting listening to me babbling on, then feel free to just wait till tomorrow's video. Yeah, made a little list, guys, of some of the interesting comments and questions and what have you lot have put in some of my previous videos the last couple of weeks. So we'll start here with the video that we did about the guy taking the engine and disappearing. We won't go on too much about it. Don't like to dwell on it, but yeah, in fairness, guys, I've read there's quite a lot of comments on that video saying, quite simple, really, don't let them put it in the car, or definitely don't let them take it away unless they have paid. You have told me before, and trouble is, I don't know whether it's me nature or what, but I've had the wool pulled over my eyes. I need to be a little bit more harsh. I need to take your word for it. I need to take your advice, and yeah, certainly can't let that happen again, because that's a bit of a stinger, that. We've got one here, guys, about the video I did on when I was away for the week. The lads leaving the workshop in a mess. Yeah, they have been trained well. I did get some comments there saying, well, they've obviously been trained well. It's a new age thing, really, where we all know some engineering workshops of the past. We know quite a few engineering shops run by sort of probably the generation before myself. And even now at these days, you go in there and you can hardly see the floor. There's that much swarf. So John's a little bit like that, although he has learnt from us, because obviously now we've got the two other younger boys in there, and we all like to keep it clean now. John's sort of, I think he feels a bit awkward. He's followed suit, but before now, he's the type to sort of drill out a broken stud and leave it for me to clean up. Otherwise, he's quite happy to just tread it around the workshop, but I just cannot do it. I was basically brought up when I did my engineering apprenticeship at a company called Parker Hannifin. There, cleanliness was first. Before you start the job, before you start setting or doing any programming or anything like that, you make sure your area is clean. All swarf goes in the bins. It was very, very regimental like that. So that's where it comes from me. And I'm a bit of a clean freak anyway. You know, my house is always fairly clean. So yeah, they seem to have followed suit. Really happy with that. And no, good on them. There's a guy here, Christopher Collin. Hopefully I've pronounced that right. Christopher, you said, did you see my email about Jim's Automotive Workshop? I did indeed, yes. I've had a few emails about that, actually, and a few comments I noticed in the video. If you notice, I think it was the last video, or the one I went on about getting the Vapor Blaster and keeping the washing machine that we were thinking of selling. I actually, just before that, I watched one of Jim's Automotive Workshop's videos from about a year ago when they were going on about their clean area, and it looked a little bit like our doorway, really. They've got machines at one side, machines up the other, and a sort of table up the middle that housed all sort of incoming work, and they would sort of clean it all in that area before it went into the workshop. So that's what gave me the idea, really, of keeping our big washing machine and doing something with that. But yes, Christopher, hopefully in the next week, providing I'm better, because believe it or not, I'm trying my best to sort of look normal here, but I do feel rough still. I'm going to be back in and I'm going to be doing a review on that channel there, because that is really interesting. As far as American channels go, that one is quite a lot like ours, although their workshop looks cleaner and tidier. But we are working on that. No, really nice couple of blokes. It was quite interesting, actually. Some of you guys commented saying, the last one that I watched, the American one, saying it's all a bit overwhelmingly good and all seems a little bit too rehearsed. That, yeah, it could be a television program. So you've got these massive units and they're basically working for a TV program, and that's why they get so many views. So yeah, didn't even think about that, to be honest, but it makes sense now. But these boys look a bit more genuine, to be honest. I've had a couple of these comments. How can you build engines but not service a van? That's from Sean Oxborough. Well, Sean, as I say, you're not the only one to have said that. We can service vans, we can change oil, but this van, you've got to bear in mind, this is a brand new van. We only bought it 6 months ago. It's absolutely brand new. For the sake of 100 quid or whatever it is to get the oil changed, it's not worth us doing it and sort of getting involved in maybe potentially voiding the warranty. So no, I'd rather just take it down to Tor, give it to them boys down there, get them to change the oil, and I get the paperwork, stick it in a file. There we go. There's no arguments. Last thing I want is there to be some issue with the engine and them to say that I've started tampering with the oil and the filter. No, it's not worth it. The answer to your question there is yes, we can change oil and we can service vans, but in this case, we're not going to bother. What about the new clean workshop? That's from a guy called James Brown. Well, James, if you mean there that the bigger workshop that we're on about with the clean area we want to sort of build, still a work in progress. This is still ongoing. We're not going to sort of reveal any names or anything yet or exactly what's happening, but we have been speaking to a friend of ours who's got a bigger workshop who wants to sort of downsize. The only thing is at the moment, he's got quite a lot of work in there that he needs to get done and get, sort through. Once he's done that and he gets into a position where the work he has got in-house, he could bring into a unit the size of ours, then we are going to speak to him. So the ball's in his court at the moment, basically, but we can't really do anything about it until then. So, the answer to your question is a bit of an unknown at the minute, but it's still in the pipeline. This next one, you've probably been sucked in by the thumbnail and title today, guys, but it's quite relevant and it's very serious, and I haven't even noticed it. That's why I did the thumbnail on it, to be honest. The amount of guys that have commented, and I didn't even realise I was doing it, get your fingers away from the machine, please. Now, I'm assuming this is from the last video when I was machining the side valve block, the surface of the side valve block, and I'm sort of holding the camera and pointing down at the machine. Firstly, it may give the illusion that I'm a lot closer. I did watch through the video actually, and yeah, it does look like I'm sort of down here, but I'm about 12 inches away, believe it or not. It's not just that. It's not just pointing the finger down at the milling machine there. The amount of comments we've had on overall safety, guys, and it is something that we are addressing, and we've got into bad habits. Now, obviously, because, not that it wasn't so bad when it was just John and I, it's obviously very serious. And there's some guys that obviously have been in this industry all their life that comment on our videos about the safety, and it obviously means a lot to them. And yes, we've got into bad habits. When I worked for Parker Hannifin and companies like that before I worked at Barham Engines, they were very hot on safety. It was safety glasses, boots, overalls, the whole works. It's just over time we've got into bad habits because it's just been us, and it's not good news, guys. Usually, if you ever see, I've seen them in the past, these horror story videos from caught on sort of camera or something where something tragic happens in a workshop. It's usually a little workshop like ours where there's just 2 or 3, 4 people working in it, and they just get into bad habits. So we have addressed that. We've gone and ordered a load of PPE, safety glasses, gloves, all the rest, safety boots, all the rest of it, guys. We're going to be using all of that from the new year. So yeah, thank you very much for pointing that out to us. Actually, it was Isaac that suggested it really. We're going to give the machines a good old clean up, maybe give them a paint, safety guard where we can, and if we can't, it's going to be glasses, boots, stay in a safe distance. We're going to mark the floor out, do it properly, because the last thing we want is something to happen to any of us. As good as the thumbnail may be, we don't want that. So that's that one covered. Last one here, guys. The engine covers issue. Now, I've got to laugh at this one, and it's nothing against some of yous, but we find this actually. Sometimes me, Isaac, and Paul sort of have a little bit of a giggle about some of the comments, because it doesn't seem, I don't know whether it's some people that just likes leaving negative comments or just like putting their point across, but like with the covers, people said, oh, you can't use cloth covers because you'll have the bits that go from the cloth will go in, the lint will go into the engines. What you want is plastic, or plastic then the lint. So if when we suggested that we were getting the lint, we had comments saying, oh no, that will hold bits and that will go in the engine, you may as well not have them. And then as soon as we put the plastic covers on, you don't want plastic, that'll make the engine sweat and this, that, the other. Like, it's almost like you can't win. But I do know what you mean. We just have to have a little giggle about it, really. But yeah, the engines are never there. They're never there long enough for them to sweat under the plastic. You know what I mean? We don't seal them in there. There's always air coming through the workshop, and they're only stored for a very short period of time. You know what I mean? So yeah, the covers that we got, they don't shed bits or anything that's going to go in the engine. The engines that we've completed have always got plugs in and stuff like that. We'll tape up the manifold ports and stuff, so stuff can't go in there. But yeah, thanks a lot for commenting, and thank you very much for your sharp observation, guys. But that's it for today. Only a short one, guys, but just to tell you that I'm still alive. Not sure whether I'm going to be in tomorrow, so I'm going to have a word with Paul later, see if he's willing to do some footage for tomorrow's video. If not, I'm going to do my best to get back for Tuesday and maybe do one then. So you just have to wait until tomorrow afternoon. But if I do manage to get in and I feel fine, we'll see you tomorrow, guys. But if not, I don't want to jeopardise all the boys' Christmas by going in and giving them the lurgy. So we'll just have to play it by ear, see what happens. But if I do or don't see you, have a lovely rest of your Sunday. And yeah, we'll see you in the week. Cheers, guys.